Welcome back everybody, I'm Matt Hernandez and today we're going to talk about some new LED lights that I just tried out. Okay, so you guys know that the main thing that I do is stills. I've done some video and I actually really love it. I don't do it consistently just because I've got so much business with stills because I've built it up over 12 years that it's too time consuming for me to do both right now. So I actually do have somebody who's filming this video for us that does videos, so maybe we might be able to incorporate more in the future, hopefully, but who knows. But these lights, these LED lights that we've tried out, they really, I feel like, are geared towards cinematographers, but I'm going to show you how that you can use them with stills as well. So it's the Zhiyun Cinepeer C100, and they're getting ready to release these. So let's go ahead and open this case here. So full disclosure, they sent me a couple of them for free. There's actually another one right here that's an edge light. We'll just show it to you real quick. See, it comes with the grid on it so you can control it. They also have barn doors. That's probably not in the right spot, but it'll be all right. So they sent me two of them and they're not paying me anything for this, so I'm doing an honest review. I do have an affiliate code because I actually did really like them. If I didn't, then I wouldn't be using the affiliate code. No, I might still do this video, but I would tell you what was wrong with them, but I thought they were really cool. So let's get into it and show you what they look like and how they work real quick before I show you. We did a couple shoots with them and then we can go over the pictures and the shoots after we take a look at the lights. Okay, so you open this carrying case here. We've got charger, cords. There's a bracket right here. We didn't actually use this. I'm not sure. I guess that would attach it probably to maybe a light stand. Is that what yeah, it's for the light stand. And I guess you could probably put on something else too. So here's the barn doors that go on it. They're actually already on the light. So you can see it's a tube light, but it's a tube light, but it's set into a case here. So it's maybe a little bit heavier than you might think. A normal tube light. It's I think a little bit under 3 pounds. So it's not big. It weighs a little bit more than you would think, honestly, when you pick it up. But we've got the barn doors attached here, so it's got this dimpled silver interior, which increases the output. If you have this on here, for those of you that haven't used anything with an interior, a lot of times like deep focus reflectors or small reflectors on lights, those round ones that I put, the silver ones, that kind of texture gives you more output when you have that. So you just can pop the barn doors off here like that, and then we'll fold them up, put them back in here. Okay, so that's what the light looks like without anything on it. And then you can put the grid, the grid actually goes underneath the barn doors and they collapse on the outside of it. So it kind of holds them on here. Okay, so let's briefly go over what all it can do real quick. Press it and then you long press to turn it on. Okay. All right, so it's flashing. Let's stop that real quick. Oh, we've got it on music mode apparently. Okay, actually I'm gonna go back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm on the menu. So when you press the mode button, we can go, so this is just color temperature. You can see it's 100 watts, which is pretty bright. So if we turn it up, so this first dial right here will adjust whatever you've got selected. So there's 100%. You can see that's pretty bright. Let's go ahead and turn that back down. And then this next button will like scroll through, so you can select different options. So we've got the dimness, the color temperature, and then the green and the magenta. So then if we press mode again, so now we're on basically you can get different hues with this one. So there's again the dimness, which is up to 100. And so let's turn that down because it's way too bright. Okay, so you can let's go down to hue, and then you can change it. So because it's RGB, you can change it to anything. Goes to the whole rainbow here as you turn the wheel. Okay, and then you can adjust the RGB settings based on 100%. So you can adjust each color individually to make your own color. And then we've got the effects panel. So this one's on rainbow, which is pretty neat. I'm not sure what you would use this for, but it does look neat. I will say that. It's cool to look at. I don't know that I would ever, especially with stills, ever need it. But so then you can change the mode here. 3 chase, 2 chase, 1 chase, color fade, and color cycle. Okay. This one's SOS under effects. And then I'm assuming you can set this to the music beat. We did not try that, but that could be pretty cool if you were like a DJ or something, or if it was even, I think that these would be really cool if you shot movies or any kind of commercials or anything like that, like more like cinema type stuff. Some of these effects would be really neat for cinematographers, which is, again, is probably who it's built for. Let's go back to okay, so we've got like a lightning setting here, candle. So if you had a candle in a scene and then you used the candle setting on this and had this off camera, it could mimic and make the candle, it could give an effect of a candle, which would be like practical lighting in stills, where I have like an edge light out of frame and there's a stadium light behind somebody, then it looks like that the edge light's coming from the stadium light, but it's actually not. So that would be the same type thing. Bad bulb, paparazzi, police car, firework, disco, hue flash, hue pulse, hue loop, and then color temperature, loop, and pulse. So lots of different options on here. We just used the solid color options because I wanted to use this in a practical real world example or examples on my shoots that I would actually use it for, not something that I just made up that I wouldn't use, or that I wouldn't, show, like teach somebody how I did like a specific setup or something like that. I want to do something that would be real world. So let's go ahead and turn it off, and then we can go through the shoots. Okay, so we did 2 different shoots. I had a senior that plays football, and he loves Star Wars. So that's obviously, those of you that have watched any of my content know that I love Star Wars. And I thought that was really awesome. So I really wanted to do something cool for his picture. He wanted to do a couple special pictures, and he actually had a specific idea, which is always really fun. He wanted to reenact a specific scene from my favorite Star Wars movie, which is Rogue One. At the end, when Darth Vader comes in the final, like, I don't know if it's the final scene, but it's one of the final scenes. It's at the very end, and he's on a ship where it's all dark and the alarm's going off, and then everybody's quiet because they're anticipating, they know he's on there, but there's no sound, and then his lightsaber comes on, and it makes that zoom noise, and then like it's red everywhere and there's fog. And so he wanted to recreate that. And I thought that was absolutely awesome and got really excited. So we did that along with a couple other ones. So let's look at a behind the scenes video real quick. Turn it off. Okay, so you can see here. So what we've got right now, this is the initial setup. We actually had an X-Drop Pro background as his cape here because he didn't bring one. He wore like dress clothes and a tie, and then had the lightsaber. And then we put up 2 Westcott 9x20 backgrounds with like 4 poles of background stands. So we had a nice big black background, and then we put the Cinepeers on the bottom there with the barn doors to give just a cool effect on the ground. And then I had a beauty dish camera left on a boom that was feathered, so it was almost straight sideways, and it was turned down very low just to give minimal light. And I actually ended up turning that off for this shot because it kind of contaminated the red, and so it didn't look as good, because you can see even in the behind the scenes video, this is normal color temperature and this is red. So it kind of mixed together and diluted the red, and I didn't like that. So we turned it off. And I also had 2 nan light tubes that we brought in too on the sides, just as kind of extra, just to add more of that same look with the LED tube lighting, because they're very similar. The nan lights are longer and bigger, but they work pretty much the same way. So we matched those, and you'll see that here in a minute in the final picture. So here's the fog coming out. I've got my handheld fog machine, and we'll link all this stuff down below, everything that we used in the video in the description. So I've got a really slow shutter speed here, so that's why I'm trying to get mainly just ambient light, and so that's why I'm having to be so still and methodical with what I'm doing. Okay, so here you can see we brought in, so you can see we've got the C100s on the ground, and then we've got the Nanlite Pavo Tube 230 XRs. I've got one on each side. We matched the colors on them, and then we've still got the beauty dish there. And that's my buddy Marshall, who came down from Tennessee to help me out and assist today, or for this shoot. Look up at me, Cooper. So I'm taking a few without the fog, and then we've got the fog machine right behind him on the ground, and then I bring in the fog. But that really gave a nice layering effect, because we've been using the fog so it was filling the room and giving a lot of atmosphere. Then putting that behind him and in front of him right there, that was the shot that I ended up liking the best. So let's take a look at that one real quick. So here's the final image, which I loved immediately. I thought it turned out perfect, and he went crazy over it too. So it worked out really well. Anytime a client gets excited about a shot like that and has an idea for something cool, and then it works out even better than you imagine, that's the best thing, because he got so excited about this, and his mom too. So you can see so these are backlighting the fog, number one, and giving it depth, because the fog is closer to the lights than the black background. So we got fog behind him and all around, and then we've got another layer of fog that's being backlit by those lights on the ground and the lights on the sides. But the C100s are really hitting it because they're right beside the fog machine. So they're really helping out there with the extra effect and giving that 3D look with the different layers that we have built. So it really worked out cool, and I thought the barn doors added a cool little effect too. And then it's reflecting on my studio floor, which made it even better. So again, it turned out absolutely awesome. Okay, and then we did another one where we put the lights upright, and then we layered them. We had the C100s behind him, and then the other two in front, and then turned his lightsaber green, and then just continued to play with the fog a little bit more. But I thought this behind the scenes turned out pretty cool.
Great look too. Yeah.
Yeah, Cooper did have, he was perfect for this. All right, so you get the idea. All right, so then the final image of that, from that little set that we did. So you can see I've still got the barn doors spread open. The light reflected, that could have been the angle I took. Maybe that one may have been a little less open than that one. You can see the light's not quite as reflective on the edge, but it still looks, that turned out really cool. They definitely added a different effect in the background, being different size and then having the barn doors on them. But again, backlighting the fog, you can see the flare going on around them. And then they're edge lighting him here also. So in the other photo, they're more lighting the fog in this one, and like they're getting some on the side, obviously a little bit of edge light on his cape right here too. But this one, they really are edge lighting his face and the back of his shoulders, so that we're cutting out his torso from that black background, because he's got a black shirt and black tie on, and his hair's black. So if I didn't have those, then he would just be black on black. You wouldn't see any detail there, but they really did the job here. And then I had my strobe turned on this one too. Camera left, you can see that highlight right there on his arm and his hand. So that's the giveaway where the light was, and angled, pretty much down, like pretty directional, and then feathered to the side. But that just added a little punch of light. This one worked better than the red setup, just because red's kind of tricky. Any of you that have dealt with it before, when you gel lights red, whether they're constant or strobes, they can get blocky and lose detail really, really fast. So you got to be careful with them. And they're a little bit harder. I feel like reds are harder to work with than a lot of other colors. So, but couldn't be happier with the way those turned out. That was really cool. And the C100s, without them, it would not have worked out as well for sure. So very pleased with those. So then the other shoot that we did was with a Little League baseball player, 11-year-old that's on my son's travel ball team. So we did a shutter drag with this one. So that's one of my favorite techniques for athletes, is a shutter drag. So you get a light trail behind them. We had the same setup with two black backgrounds, and this time we had a strip box, camera right, 1x4 with the diffusion on it and the grid, and then we had turf on the ground, and then we had the two C100s behind him. I ended up at the end, one of them ran out of batteries, which I didn't mention that you can use these plugged in, and you can also, they have an internal battery that charges also, so that you can use them cordless too, which is really nice. One of them ran out of battery because we'd used it more, and then it ended up being better with just one light, because I think two made it too saturated. It was too bright almost, not too saturated, but too bright in the center. And you'll see when I show you the final image, but it turned out, they all turned out really cool, but the ones at the end, where I just had one, because they are so powerful, honestly, I only needed one. I didn't think that I would, because they're small, so you wouldn't think they'd have that much punch, but they really do. So I'm using rear curtain sync here, so you can see I'm opening the curtain basically when he starts his motion to pitch. Like right there's where I start the picture, the shutter opens, and then right there when I let it go, that's when the light fires, is at the very end. So it's on rear curtain sync, and then we've got the C100's camera left with the grids on them, and then that strip box just to control the light and have it really directional and nice, and big enough to cover him, but we didn't want it to spill in the background, so we got the grid on it there. So, and then these all turned out really cool too, but this wasn't my favorite one. So you can see the highlights, which the highlights back here, that's probably just gonna be taste, like and preference, whatever you like. With one blue light, it was more solid blue, like in these brighter areas. But this also gives it a little bit more three-dimensional feel too. So, you know, so either way, but the one was definitely powerful enough. So the reason that I had him camera left only with the grids on him was because I only wanted this back part of him to be blue with the light trail, and the front part I wanted to be normal color, which is what we ended up with here. So again, that turned out really awesome too. So I've actually done a lot of these shoots like this with the shutter drag, and I'm definitely going to incorporate these into that process because they are so portable and small, and they have so much power. That's one of the problems I've had before is the lights weren't shaped correctly, and I couldn't put modifiers on it, but these have modifiers that go with them, and they're tiny. So, but they still work really, really well, and they have enough juice to give me what I need, because the lights before they were borderline bright enough, but with these, I think I'm going to be good to go. I'm going to have a lot of versatility with the different types of looks I can do with this type of shoot. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so we're going to post the link to the lights below if you want to check them out, and there will be a 10% off code that you can put in that will give you also, that's exclusive for me, it's an affiliate link. And then also on top of that, they're going to have $15 off on the product page. So I think the C100 standard is going to end up being like $254.10, and then the combo will be $339.10. But I would recommend checking them out. They're pretty cool, and like as you saw, they're really small and easy to deal with. So I'm excited about using them. Hopefully we can incorporate it in some video work too. All right, well that's it. I hope that helped you guys see how you can incorporate LED lighting into your still photography. And if you enjoyed that, if you got something out of it, I'd appreciate a like, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so that you get notified when we post new content. There's gonna be a lot more to come. We'll see you next time.